That theme music every time, Tim, just makes my day.
You missed that. It's been a couple of weeks, so
A couple
you
weeks
missed
since
that, huh?
I did. I'm a big fan of that little like doo 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 doo. It was almost like Mario. Doo doo doo
That's
doo
true. Maybe
doo
it's bringing you
doo.
back, to your childhood.
Yeah, if you ever listened to Questlove talk about DJing, you learn that it's all about making the audience feel like they're smart and like doing like callbacks, like, oh, I know that song.
Hmm.
And I feel like that.
Yeah, playing on nostalgia and all that. Yeah, I could see
Yeah,
that.
you're like, oh, it's a little different, but I know what he's doing there or she's doing there. So there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
Like listening to Questlove talking about DJing is like watching like the most passionate human about like thinks about something that you're passionate about, and that's like him talking about DJing. He's just
Hmm.
uber passionate about it. So
Hmm.
pretty interesting. Like you're passionate about flannel.
I am. I brought out I actually thought about this morning when I was getting ready in the morning, and I thought, I know we've got Tuesday at 2 today. I'm going to put on the real flannel. It's actually cold today. It was below freezing this
Oh,
morning,
geez, in Knoxville, that's
and
crazy.
in Knoxville, yeah. So I put on the real flannel, and we're ready to go. How was
I
your Thanksgiving?
I have every window open in my house because it's like 70 degrees here finally. So
Not bad.
very different. Thanksgiving was good. I ate a lot of turkey. I ate some pumpkin
Hmm.
pie. Always a big fan. Are you a pumpkin pie person?
It's my favorite pie.
Oh, I think we got along. That's my favorite pie. I'm the only one who ate it at Thanksgiving.
That's the best way to do it. Yeah. No, I like all pies, as maybe you can imagine. But
Yeah, I don't
pumpkin
discriminate.
pie, pumpkin pie is good. It's the Questlove effect, right? Because we're you only get it once a year or something like that, and it
I won
reminds
a
you of
pie
your
eating
childhood.
contest with pumpkin pie.
Did you? How much you eat?
I ate a whole one the fastest. Now
Oh, I see.
the trick was you could pick your pie, and everyone picked like apple. And in my brain, I'm like, you have to chew all of it. Whereas
Uh-huh.
like the pumpkin filling, you don't have to chew. And so I was it's like baby food. You're just like,
Smart.
all right.
That's
So
smart. Yeah.
yeah, that happened. Anyway, all right. Well, that's not here we're talking about. We're not here to talk about pie eating contests or
Okay, fine.
Tim's passionate about flannel and making sure you wear it today, which I appreciate, by the way.
Hmm.
I'm wearing an old school Herefish shirt still, as I
Yeah. Why
talked
is
earlier.
that?
We did a LinkedIn Live with Billy Davis, or as Mr. BD as I call him, and we talked about Bullhorn Automation, the Bullhorn Marketplace, and 3D IQ, and how you can tie those three things together. Well, I guess not the marketplace, but we're in the marketplace. So how you can tie Bullhorn Automation, and 3D IQ into a neat little package, create some great outcomes, some great automation. So we figured we'd talk about that again. And yeah, and Tim, any did I say anything? Probably not. I said probably nothing remotely exciting for you, besides from a
No.
great new audience. Was there anything that Billy or I shared that was intriguing to you?
It was a good conversation, I think, and for me, it's always fun to see the history of something, and to see how things develop over time. And I know you and Billy go way back, and obviously Herefish goes way back. Bullhorn Automation goes way back as Herefish. So yeah, I sort of see this as one of those after shows. My wife watches the reality TV, and sometimes they have the after shows where they talk about all the drama live, and so
The
that's sort of how I
reunion,
see this show, the reunion show, exactly. Yeah,
except Billy and I had
and
like zero drama, and in this. I'm
so we
sorry,
got to
Tim.
create some. We got to
I,
create some.
we're
No,
not
and
paying.
okay, so where I'm going with this maybe
Yeah,
is,
is that
you
you want
know,
me to be like on Vanderpump Rules or The
that's
Challenge?
exactly what I
That's where
want.
you're
Yeah,
going, but you have no idea what either.
Survivor,
You don't even know what
Survivor.
those two shows are. Hopefully, which would make
I
me
know
happy.
what Survivor is that,
Well, that's
or
good stuff. I'm a
uh,
fan.
okay. No, where I was going with that was, Herefish or Bullhorn Automation, previous to its acquisition. When you were on that team, as a new product, is something that was brand new into the marketplace. There was a lot of, I don't know, market knowledge that you needed to impart. You needed to help people understand why they needed this and why it was important. And now here we are, I don't know what, 3 years later, 4 years later, something like that. And everybody automation is just a part of everything we do. Um,
Yeah,
and I sort of feel like we're at that point, maybe with AI, maybe with some other things. So, um, you know, what do you think? I mean, what do you think? Where do you think we are in that process? Do you feel like this is early on automation days with some of these other technologies now? Am I making sense to you?
Early on automation is, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I think what we're trying to cover is that a well-built ecosystem is not going to keep core operating technologies, workflows in silos. They're going to pull them in and combine them to, like create a super workflow. And that doesn't mean that's like, I don't want you to think super and be like, oh, that's complicated.
Hmm.
Everything we do is not very complicated. Um, I mean, building out automations isn't complicated. I think once you understand how to build an audience, that part can be, but you can have someone help you with it. But the actual steps and the workflows and the automations are pretty straightforward. They make sense to your business. You're not recreating any wheels. It's just knowing who to include, who to exclude, and when to get them in or out out of receiving those messages. That bears some complication. Other than that, it's all very straightforward. So we can combine, all parts of your tech stack into automation, into a data and reporting tool, into AI. You have some really cool opportunities to move the needle and build out really tight workflows that combine people and technology and get some really nice, really strong outcomes. And I think we're definitely S3DIQ, the global we there, are a part of that. And I don't think that you need to like be a super technical person to understand how to do it, right? Like you send a submission through 3DIQ, you automate the follow up,
Hmm.
right? You ask people when they come to your website, do they want to see the top talent that you have available that's coming off assignment, even as an example for IT people? And you ask them to subscribe to a newsletter, and that newsletter goes out once a week, once a month, whatever. You can ask them what cadence they want to receive it at, and you have some opportunity to open up jobs that you didn't even know existed simply by using your talent. If you want to get retained clients, you can basically either show them available talent or show them the last 10 hires that you got done, right? Blinded out profiles for them. Building trust. You could have a rotating list of your last 10 hires blinded out on your website, right? So you have salespeople out in the field, you have marketing efforts going on, you're ideally driving people to the website. The website is as like, everyone tells you they're great, but here's what we actually did, right? And you can have some talent, right? You can throw some stats up there about, your success rate. You could throw tying in another partner. You could tie in like a great recruiters, um, great recruiter score for how well your company is doing with your candidates or whatever you're measuring with the great recruiters, or if it's curly rated, if you go that route. That either way, it doesn't bother me. But anything that's going to build trust, right? And I think I think we've made it too complicated trying to build trust in the staffing industry. What do? We find great people and we place them at great companies. Okay, prove it. And make it so I don't have to ask you to prove it. Make it I go to your website and it's already there. I don't even ask you a question. I should be able to be like, okay, this company places, you know, A, B, and C types of talent. I need to hire A, B, and C. I just saw really 5 really good candidates that they just placed with some details and a satisfaction score. Okay, let me request more information. Let me go book a call. Let me say, hey, everything looks good. I just want to meet you so I can work with you. I think that's how people buy now, right?
Hmm.
How you buy on Amazon. It's how you buy
Yep.
on any Shopify store you go on. And I'm assuming if you can enable that for your customers or your prospects who are coming in, then you shouldn't have it's going to be hard. You're going to have to fight, right? Because finding new clients is the number one priority. It was last year. It's probably going to be the same this year. I'm sure when the Bullhorn Trend Report comes out, it's going to say the same thing. So how are you enabling the buyer to come to your website to buy without you, buy without one of your salespeople?
Yep.
I don't know. That's a very long-winded answer, Tim. Again.
No, and what I think is the key to all of that. there are people doing that out there right now to some extent, right?
Yeah, but they're not showing off their
But the
talent. They're
right.
not. I like the word "prove it." Like, can you prove it
Hmm.
very easily?
Yeah, the key to that is automation. In the first step, right? So being able to have it happen in the background. Otherwise, nobody's going to have good enough habits to, especially a mid-sized company or something like that, to
Oh, like
keep that
getting
up,
all the
right?
busy work done, automating all of it
Getting
so
all
it's
the busy
busy
work
work.
done,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Doing the
Because
busy work
because
without a human.
and
Like if Tim
so
and I could AI generate ourselves and have this conversation, I know Tim definitely would not be on here if he could AI generate himself.
I need an avatar, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the thing that I'm excited about is what we're really working on, which is auto generating those profiles, because that's the missing piece, right? So whether you could use Bullhorn Automation right now, as you and Billy discussed this morning, to put your last place candidates on a tear sheet, right? Or to use them for put them on a list if they're coming up for redeployment, or put them on a list somewhere, right?
Yeah.
But then how do you deliver that, right? The delivery part of it is the part that's
It's got to look good. It's got to be easy to consume. It's got to look like something they already know.
yeah, and so being able to, on our in our world, right, in the 3D IQ world, being able to generate profiles in a number of different ways, whether you're using the candidate resume, or more likely, if we're talking about, when you talk about putting placed candidates out publicly, right? You've there's going to be some staffing managers out there whose ears perk up a little bit, maybe who get a little antsy, right? And so the key there is going to be making sure those profiles are blinded enough and they're formatted enough, and that's where in our mind, that's where AI will come in doing that reformatting and doing that generation of profiles automatically in the background, so that you don't have to worry about it. Then combining all those things together, and having a process that you can use automation with, then that will be that delivery part of the puzzle, right? Because you can't really do any of this talent pools, uh,
Direct sourcing.
delivering,
Yeah.
yeah, newsletters, any of that stuff, if you can't efficiently and sort of automatically deliver this stuff to clients, right?
I like it. I like how you tied automation into that whole conversation.
That's what we're talking about today, automation, right?
Yeah. No, and I think that what you're doing is you're removing the busy work, and then you're getting all the extra benefit, right? So you're getting the tracking, you're getting the delivery piece. It's going to look good. Uh, you're creating opportunity for your clients to tell you what they're looking for, even maybe add a job that they're looking for. You're adding opportunity to place more people because you're spending enough on getting them into your ATS. And I
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it earlier, but we wrote a blog about your ATS being a cemetery or a graveyard, and that's where talent goes to die, even though you spent good money, both money on the job board and money paying people like your recruiters and salespeople to engage with that talent and get to meet it and build a relationship. And then it
Mm-hmm.
gets into your ATS, hopefully with some good data, probably not. And then it just
Mm-hmm.
lives there. And you may use Bullhorn Automation or Sense to gently nurture it, but you probably know. And so you spend all this money. Maybe that person got spoken to one time, but you spent recruiter hours, you spent job board dollars, which usually is marketing, and now you don't make a placement with that person, and you don't use that person didn't even get submitted to a job.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try and use your talent as much as humanly possible, and let's create some really cool workflows to allow your team to make money without you actually having to do
And
all the hard work.
tell me how wrong I am here.
Wait.
Tell me
Let's
how wrong I
celebrate
am.
making money without working. Like
I like it. That's going to be the future, right? We're gonna, especially over the next couple of years,
yeah,
maybe.
AI is going to do all this
Yeah.
stuff. I will curse
Well,
this stuff.
and we're going to have to do more with less potentially, depending on what.
By the way,
Uh,
Tim has been really pleased with me because I've been handwriting all of our blogs, but I've been improving them with
I like
GPT.
it. I like it. Because I like your wit, and the robot doesn't get that yet.
The robot is not enjoying the wit.
Yeah.
I try not to be clever, just concise and mildly sarcastic.
Yeah, let me ask you get your thoughts on one thing with automation in particular, maybe before we go, and that is, a lot of the things that people want with AI, or people think AI should be or will be or is stuff you can do with automation now.
Is AI going to be all the stuff that you can do with automation right now?
No, not is, but this idea that, a lot of where people want to start with automation, aside from content generation, right? Like you want to have something that is a digital assistant that's in your background doing sorts of things in your database and cleaning things up and putting people in lists and things like that. That's all stuff that automation can do, right?
Will AI be doing that? I think it'll be a combination.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think you'll have like dynamic links in automation that AI will just plug in the answer to. Like AI has been personalizing emails for 2 or 3 years now, right? You can have an email writer that goes to like the LinkedIn profile, scans the web for your name, and is like, oh, Rob spoke on a podcast, so let me mention this podcast in the opening of this email, and then I'll preset a bunch of salesy BS afterwards, and AI might tie it together, but AI is writing that email. So and then more of those are coming out, and the amount of spam and trash emails I get and DMs on LinkedIn I get are tremendous. So thank you everybody who does that. Which every so often I try just to see if it's any good. So if you get those from me, just know I'm mostly trialing them, and I usually turn them off after about a week. So, but I booked 2 calls with one of them last time, so no complaints. Yeah, so I think that there's going to be a combination of it's going to be like the intersection of AI and automation that's going to drive that, which is already happening. I do see directive AI helping. Like directive AI says, "Hey Tim, it's time to email these 10 people." Like it'd be nice if you could get a good like connection into like a Zoom or a Zoom Info or a Lucia or anywhere where you get like contact details and intent, and then use that to drive. Like, hey Tim, these 3 people look like they need a client portal because they started working with X company, and they announced it, and now Tim and I are like, oh, okay, like we already have an email campaign built, so something identifies a signal, the signal gets put into this directive piece. There's already a email or automation set up that's going to send a 3 or 4 email campaign to that person about the client portal because we said we got a signal that they're going to need one, and now we're good, right? We've already gotten 4 or 5 messages out. Now you can plug, like we already do that with staffing and recruiting, right? For if you get a job, you can set up an automation right now that says if you get a job into your system, use Daxtra or TextKernel or any other tool that is similar, and shortlist 100 people to that job. Send every one of those automatically a text message asking that they're interested, and move anyone who said they're interested into the next phase of the submission and notify their recruiter, and their recruiter will reach out. But actually, by the way, what I meant to mention too with Billy is that we can use links in text messages. And I'm really mad now that I just remember that I didn't say that. So I'm going to have to write a blog about this now.
That's good. And
now I know the next blog topic is texting links, like your submissions and your skill marketing.
Love it. We could do a whole show on that.
Oh, we could. But then you won't post it as a blog afterwards. So
we do have a blog coming out though today. So be on the lookout for that on automation and tear sheets and using automation.
Is that
to build tear sheets?
Is that what I just wrote?
It is.
Oh.
That's what the robot wrote.
I wrote that.
No, I'm kidding.
All right, guys, it's 20 minutes. We got to go. Let's see what you're thinking. Guys, start figuring out how all these things tie together. Work with things that tie together nicely and play well. Get your data right. Get it tight. Make sure that you're using good practices and as much automation as possible to keep your data tight. It affects your reporting, your ability to use AI, whether it's ML, which would be matching, directive, which will tell you what to do, or generative, which will tell you how to write an email or a summary or whatever, a job description. Good data is going to be the key to all of that. If you're not sure how to take baby steps in that way, reach out to Tim and I. We like baby steps. We don't like taking one giant leap for mankind, as someone might say. And yeah, Tim, thank you for wearing flannel again.
Next week, we'll see.
Ooh, now it's a cliffhanger. All right. Well,
Yeah.
on that dramatic cliffhanger note, we're out.
All right. See you.
Bye.